How's it going, guys? Welcome to our second live fishing report video of the summer. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to log on. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a couple minutes before we get going. We'll just shoot the breeze, chit chat. You know what I'm saying? Chew the mustard. What I'm saying. And as you come on, I'd appreciate it if you would say, hey, so I know you're there. I know someone's listening. Well, what's up? How's it going, Robert? Sorry, it's kind of hard to see the screen, so if you see me, guys, like trying to look real closely, I'm just trying to read what you're saying. Before we get started, I'll just kind of give you a brief overview of what I'd like to do today. How's it going, Walter? Gotcha. Nicholas and Big Bruce. Hello. Ice. I've got a bigger screen over here, so Ice, nice to see you. Thank you guys for joining in. You're on time too, that's pretty awesome. Robert Harris is starting off with a question right to the point. I like it. Yes, there are Spanish mackerel. I caught some a couple weeks ago, actually, when I was king fishing. Normally I catch them right by the jetties, and this was actually out king fishing, and we had some really nice Spanish mackerel. They were mixed in. All the kings and Spanish were very similar in size. Not sure how they're doing at the jetties, but I'm sure jetties, pokey pods, offshore, maybe shrimp boats, you could probably catch a few. Grouper report. I saw that question. How's it going, Jason? So, grouper report, I don't have too many updates, unfortunately. I had heard some divers went a few weeks ago, and they did see some on some of the inshore wrecks. They didn't shoot any. But it sounds like they're there. It seems like grouper out of Northeast Florida are generally, if you want to get the good ones consistently, you got to go pretty good ways out. For like Elton Bottom, it seems real good. I'm not a great grouper fisherman, so you know, if you guys have heard something or know something yourselves, Robin, I know you're a good bottom fisherman. More extinct than snapper. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that. Interesting thing, several years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, we had a ton of rain, and it pushed a lot of dirty water offshore, and it made the grouper, like, I don't know if it was just a coincidence that fresh water was going out then, or if there was some disease, because the grouper, all the divers were telling me the grouper were kind of sick. They had red on their fins, and they were lethargic, like divers were going up and just touching them. And since then, grouper fishing's been pretty slow, not that it was ever as hot as snapper. But I see, Robert, you got a question about flounder. Yes, we are big flounder fishermen. My dad especially, big flounder fisherman. And that actually will bring us into our first kind of report, okay, for Northeast Florida. This is from Blue Cyclone Inland Fishing Adventures. Captain Chris Holloman. If you look at my videos, if you look for trout videos, Real Hazardous, you'll see a couple videos where I fish with Chris. He's a really good inshore fisherman. He's a charter guy. He fishes some of the local tournaments. We had a great time every time we fished with him. And here's what he told me. So the key right now is clean water. Okay. Right now, they're doing a lot of dredging. For all you local guys probably know this. They're doing a lot of dredging in the St. Johns River in Mayport. And he said the key is to find clean water. If you get in a spot, it looks dirty, and you're not catching much, don't stay too long. He's doing really good on redfish and flounder right now. He says the flounder aren't big, but they are keepers. He says that's a really good sign. Especially if you're closer to Mayport. He says if you go out and you're by Mayport and you see glass minnows, then they're catching a ton of flounder just beneath it, you know, on the sand, I guess. Flounder are probably eating those glass minnows. Makes sense. And they're doing really well. How's it going, Brian? See that? So yeah, he also said, Chris was also saying, there are some small shrimp around. He's seen it kind of along the banks, which I saw another comment about shrimp. Sounds like they're starting to come in. If we don't get a downpour, a ton of rain like we have in the years past, should be really good. How's it going, Philip? Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, so there's some shrimp along the banks, which is good for the fishing. Redfish are doing good. It's been really dry, as most of you know, up until about the last week or so. So that was making things a little difficult, or a little different, I should say, inshore. Chris was saying the fish were kind of further in the river, I guess, because it was more higher salinity. But now the all this rain is kind of pushing the fish back to where they normally would be. So that's I guess that's kind of his report. Hope that helps you guys. Check out his Blue Cyclone Inland Adventure charters. Really fun fishing. We did some really cool stuff on some artificial like bomber lures. Okay, I see some comments rolling in, so I'm gonna try to catch up real quick. Robert is giving us an update about some frozen bait shortages. If you need Boston mackerel, cigar minnows, or sardines, stock up now. And that makes sense because we are like, what, 3 weeks maybe from red snapper season. So yeah, definitely get that soon. So, you know, definitely get that soon. If you're out jigging up your own cigar minnows, you know, like for king fishing, because pogies have been pretty difficult recently. If you catch some extra ones, freeze them and keep them for fishing for the snapper season. A Key Largo Islamorada update. Heading down for a month. That's pretty cool. A good website to get info. Well, there's the Florida Sportsman Forum. Haven't been on that as much, but they have regional sections, and usually you click on like the Florida Keys, and there are good reports down there. I got a friend who's going down Saturday, so I will comment on the comment section of this video throughout the week, starting probably Sunday, Monday, to let you know what he tells me is going on. So I'll try to get some details then. But this is a good time of year for it. I got some other friends who've been down. Actually, they did send me a report. They went, I guess about a weekish ago, and they did very well on tuna. Tuna by the humps and stuff. So let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. That's a good comment, Brian. He said he saw me last week, saw us catching pogies kind of deep, and was asking what net are we throwing. So the weight is probably about 15, at least 15. It's at least about 1.5 pounds per foot, and it was a 10-foot net. So last week the pogies were tough to get. We'd heard they were there, and we get out there that morning, and it's like, man, I don't see any. A lot of boats are casting, and I hear a boat say they've caught some close by where we are. So I kind of looking around, and I'm starting to see stuff on my depth recorder, and the pogies never came up on the surface like they typically would. You would typically see them flipping. You can cast on them. Never saw them flipping. It was really windy that morning. It wouldn't help much anyways. But what I had to do was use the recorder to mark them, which is easier said than done. I mean, it took us an hour, and I got 32 pogies, 31 pogies, 30 of which were in one cast. So I'm casting over and over. Finally, we time it out right. Had to let it sink all the way to the bottom. I would count it out in your head, try to feel it, because some nets sink kind of slow. So you want to make sure you get to the bottom and make sure you have enough rope, because we were in about 20 feet of water. Like you said, 22 feet. So yeah, but funny thing was that afternoon, they told me the pogies came up and they were thick. So like a charter guy, the drop plan, Team Buck Rogers, he called me on the radio, and he had an afternoon charter, and he looked and they were thick in the afternoon. Go figure. So Philip, saw your question. Am I fishing the King Buster? I'm not fishing the King Buster this weekend. No. Should be a good day for it. I do like the Kingfish tournaments, but just we had a lot of other trips we're trying to get planned. We're gonna probably dive this Saturday, and probably fun fish. So if you call me on the radio, I hear you. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I ain't got no skin in the fight. But the kingfishing is good. I've seen a lot of people catching big kingfish, like on the near shore wrecks where we're catching small ones. And like normally that's, they say, oh, the big ones and small ones aren't mixed. I think because the kingfish and the Spanish are there and they're so small, I think the big ones are probably eating them. But some guys have got some 35, 40 pounders. That's a cool tip, Robert. Sidescan to pick up pogies. Unfortunately, I don't have that, but I guess I could see where that would be really helpful. I have to look into that one day. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, if they're not coming up, the side scan would be great. I can see instead of looking straight down, now you've got just a whole lot more area to look at. Apparently all you guys like side scan, all you guys who are commenting, so that's pretty cool. They make that for Garmin? I would assume so. It seems like most people have it nowadays. So king fishing offshore has still been really great. I went last week, as you heard, and we went up north to MR and caught a bunch of fish. It was good fishing. It was a little slow to start out, but once we found them, it picked up pretty good. I saw boats around us too catching them. We were kind of all over MR, so I think they're all over. I know people are going south, and it's all been pretty good. Okay, cool. Good to see. Garmin has a side view, so that's good to know. That's what I got. It'd be compatible, although I guess I'd have to get a new depth recorder. But been kind of wanting to upgrade electronics one day soon anyways. Only thing is good for in saltwater, fishing. Okay, cool. Finding bait. But it's okay. So anyways, how about you guys? Are any of you guys, what are you guys catching now? We got any ones down south or on the west coast of Florida today? Just jump in. In the meantime, I saw a question, and actually I had a couple guys text me earlier asking what I thought about the King Buster. And, so I thought I'd talk about some tips, or maybe more importantly, what not to do on a tournament day. I know there's probably some tournament guys out there, so feel free to jump in. To me, tournament day, I want everything to be ready to go. When it's time to fish, I want to be out there. I want to get there quick. So if you're going to buy bait, which is good, you can buy blue runners or goggle eyes. They're expensive, but if you buy them, make sure you're there and get in line early. Because one time I had to wait, and I'm like, dang, it's killing me. I should be fishing. So get them early. If you're going to catch them, well, catch them as quick as you can. It's good to have ribbon fish too. And if you can, have that ribbon fish ready to go, in your cooler, keep them separate, and go ahead and hook them up, have your line ready. And that way you can just toss them out as soon as you get there. Efficiency, right? Cool. Kingfish off Flagler Pier. It's good to know. I know some boats will actually run down south. Some boats will run all the way down to Canaveral in the King Buster. So it's a good run, but sometimes it pays off. Let's see, some other Kingfish tournament tips. Make sure all your gear's squared away. They say to replace your line once a year, your monofilament line. And if that's the case, tournament guys, some of them, they'll replace line every tournament, maybe even every day, I've heard. But if you're kind of a low budget guy and maybe you're just doing 1 or 2 tournaments a year, I would at least, if I'm going to spool up my lines, I wait right before the tournament so I have fresh line. If you don't have fresh line, and it's still pretty new, I would at least strip off, maybe 50 yards in case there's any nicks or anything like that along the way. Remember to use fresh leaders, fresh hooks, have all that ready to go. If I can, I would usually have at least 6 reels all rigged up. I'm not going to run 6 at once. I might run 4 or 5, but it's good like when you catch a fish and get them in the boat, then you don't have to like worry about re-rigging. You can just go ahead and put number 6 out. Okay, that's out. Now go ahead and change that one, and you've always got one you're rotating. So I like to do things like that. Let's see, what else? What are some other good king fishing tips? If you got buddies and can network with them, that's always good to have that knowledge, about what's biting where. You could try a Ross report. Again, that's, $50-$60, but in tournament, you want to do well. That's a good one, beanbag chairs. And that's pretty much almost every trip for us, especially farther ledge trips. Them beanbags are lifesavers. And here's another good tip. Try to bring enough beanbags for like everybody except the boat driver. Because like a couple times, like I brought like a couple and there's like 4 or 5 of us. And sometimes it's hard to get in on that beanbag. You look around and like, bam, someone's always on. I'm like, come on guys, give me the chair some. But they're super comfortable. Other things, these are not as technical, but bring plenty of food and drinks, and good sunscreen. You're going to fish it long and hard, and that's real important. I think that was like the first thing I learned when I was a kid. I started fishing with my dad, and I think it was like the second trip literally, and like we'd forgotten snacks. I was probably 4, so maybe 5. No spray sunscreen, yeah. It's not always very good when it's windy offshore, is it? But I was like 4 or 5, and we get out there, I don't have snacks. So I was going to grab a snack, and I was like, oh, we forgot. That's hardcore fishermen, so it's not like we're going back in for it. So I'm sitting there, thinking, okay, it's no big deal, I can take it. 10 minutes later, I'm like, I gotta have food. Little kid, so plenty of snacks. Yes, this colors the gel coat. It's kind of funny. I've had that where like I'm take people fishing. I didn't know what it was at first, and people going and I was just seeing these orange spots on my boat, and then finally realized that's where people are sitting. That's their sunscreen. So it's bad. My sister, she's an esthetician, and she recommends Image Skincare sunscreen with SPF 50 for your face, which is what I've started using. It's fancy stuff, but it does really good. It doesn't feel, kind of yucky like some of that other stuff. So I like it. Okay, so beanbags, snacks, your gear. Make sure you got a good crew. Seems kind of obvious, but it's not a good time to take your buddy who's like, man, I've been wanting to fish, for a year. I flew into town for, a week, and I've never offshore fished before. Let's go. I know you want to help your buddy out, but had some bad things go down. I've fallen that mistake before, and it didn't go so well. Know your job as part of the crew. And just fishing in general, it's always great. Like when you fish with other people who fished before, and like they know what to do, like putting baits out or something as simple as definitely hard to find and keep a good crew. But something as simple as knowing where to stand. Like I was fishing like one time, like I'm taking some guys out, and they hadn't fished much, but it's not a tournament or nothing, but still I'm taking them out, and I'm driving the boat and stuff, and for some reason they both, like I'm in a center console, and they both wanted to stand here and here. Like I can never leave my position to get bait or help them out. They were always like blocking it. It seemed like no matter where I'd go, I'm like, hey, I need to slide by the console. So quick tip, you know, fish at the front of the boat, fish at the back of the boat. Don't block that console off, you know, unless you're in some giant boat. Like I fished that 39 CV, super wide, quad motors, and you could actually have enough room. You could fish right there at the console. Captain could still get around pretty nice. But for the rest of us average guys, you know, there's not enough space. So, you know, if you're watching this and you're wanting to get into fishing, just think of these little things, you know, stay out of the way of the captain. And, you know, yeah, real easy with a 15-foot beam. But not like that on our 27 contender. We don't have that kind of space on the sides. Up front, up back, it's great. But just the nature of having I think ours is like an 8-ish foot beam, maybe close to 9, but still kind of hard to slide by. So last I did hear though, pogies were still hit or miss, but they've been better than they have been. If you can't find pogies, you can jig up baits like MR, and some guys went down south to I think PM. Actually, 3 or 4 weeks ago now, I was jigging up blue runners at PM, which I'd never done before. And it's, you know, if I was kingfishing, that would have been, if I was kingfish tournament fishing, that would have been like awesome, you know. So, so that'd be pretty good. Dylan, I saw you had a question. Can you retype that? I'm not sure what you mean. Did you say, how do I sew a 5A? Might have been some autocorrect in there. Thanks, Brian, still there. What was I jigging up the runners with? Oh, the runners were still there, PM. Wow, that's cool. So, tournament guys, you know, you might want to, I mean, I don't know. I'd either run to Elton Bottom if the fishing on the beach was good, but, you know, fishing by blue runners is always seems like a good sign to me. Even way offshore for Wahoo, it's good when we see runners. I was jigging them up with sabiki rigs. I got the bigger hooks. You know, just putting them on a heavier reel, and they were biting real good. We actually started with the little sabikis, and they were still hitting them like the number 8, but they were breaking off because that line's so small. But we switched to those bigger hooks. I'll put a link for the ones we used, and they were hitting them great. Just regular sabiki, nothing special, no you know, flavor to it. And just popped it off the bag, let it go. I think Strike Zone carries those, or you can order them probably online, but I'm not sure if West Marine has them or not. 10 to 12 inches, man, that'd be great. I love a big bait, you know, for kingfish or wahoo or something like that. So, you fishing the tournament, Brian? Sounds good. Oh yeah, the tent sale, yeah. Well, cool. Well, good luck, guys. Hope y'all do well. You know, give me a shout if I hear you. I'll be happy to tell you what I'm doing if I'm fun fishing. But I probably won't have a whole lot of detail just because I'll be diving or something. Okay, oh, you're not. You just caught the sabikis. Okay, cool. So, this week, okay, quick question. Anyone going out Saturday? Any of you guys going out? I'll be out Saturday. Probably diving. I'm usually on 8 or 72. If you guys want to give me a shout. Brian, you might be out there. Yeah, probably everyone. Yeah, with the King Buster, it'll be kind of crowded. I'm going to kind of look and see when the checkout is. And that way I can kind of avoid some of them guys. 8 or 10 running and reeling. Sweet. Marathon reports. I don't have any just yet. I'll have some in a couple days. A friend of mine's going down, and at the last report I did here, they were catching tuna at the humps. With skipjack and blackfin, pretty good. So let's see. This week we got our video coming out. We actually talk about kingfishing. I do some pretty cool stuff. I catch a kingfish. I want to do a light tackle challenge, and in this video I was attempting with 8-pound mono. So If you guys want to see that, that'll be out on tomorrow's video. If there's any other thoughts you guys have, like if there's any videos y'all want to see us film, any questions, or if you see something on our video and you're like, how'd you do that? Sometimes I don't think about those little things just because I've been doing it so often, but if you're wondering what it was, by all means comment and let me know, and I'll try to do a video on it. Best rod for kingfish, that's a good idea. I got several rods. I actually got a new kingfish rod that someone recommended, and I'm testing that now, so I can definitely talk about that. Do I slow pitch jigs? Like for kingfish, in that regard, like no, I don't really do that, but I do keep jigs handy for like when I'm cobia fishing or dolphin fishing, and especially for dolphin, if I can get live bait, I'll use, like, I'll have a rod ready in the Keys. You know, if you're going out of the Keys, catch some bait if you can, like a marathon along the flats, put out a chum bag, catch you some bait. That makes a big difference fishing. Butterfly jigging, I've started to do a little, actually. On the video I went with Black Tip H and Dude Perfect. He does a lot of jigging, them guys do, and they were catching some pretty cool amberjack. It's something I haven't done a whole lot of. I started doing it, kind of learning out there, so I'll probably do some more soon, but you might get some good tips on that video. Okay, Brian was saying the Kings were hitting more on the downriggers offshore 30-ish feet. And that's funny because like lately 30 has been a pretty good number for us too. I think the last few trips 30 feet, and I don't know how it is this week, but in the last few weeks it's been super clear water. I haven't heard of any thermocline, which is good. Hopefully there's not this Saturday when we dive, but we'll see. And I did see some reports, some tarpon biting in the Keys. And I heard there was some tarpon in the pokey pods up here. I think it was down south a little ways, but their pokey pods were thick and there were tons of tarpon in it. Let's see, what else we got? Pinfish traps. Oh, and the ballyhoo, we actually got that too. I'm looking forward to testing that out. I might test it out up here for pogies and cigar minnows. It's something my dad wants to try, so we'll see. Oh, cool comment. A trip to the middle grounds. That's actually funny you mentioned that because I've been trying to plan a trip to the Gulf. That would be pretty fun, actually. I'd probably like to do that. I have to get with you. We were talking about maybe going the next few weeks, not as far to the middle grounds, just to dive. Because a friend of mine went diving there Monday and Tuesday, and they loaded up hogfish, snapper, grouper. It was good over there, 25 to 35 miles out. Yeah. Let's see. Whatever, tape an episode on one of our boats. Probably. I like to actually fish with more people because you learn a lot that way. Like when I fish on the CV, when I fish on the big time. If you've seen my Keys videos for tuna, it's a Cabo. It's always a great opportunity because I love doing that, and I'm trying to fish more with some local people when I can. That'd be pretty cool. See, Jason, man, you're deep driving for swords. That would be awesome. It's another thing I want to do. Thought about maybe trying it in the Keys. So, I don't know, but that'd be really cool because I've never done that before. Probably goof up first few times, but let me know how you do and what the captain does. You know, if you got any tips after your trip, Jason. Sword tournament coming up. That is pretty cool. I think they did one last year. I don't remember how that went. I just remember vaguely seeing it. So that would be pretty cool. And some guys have got some big swords. I mean, there's a good sword fishing out of Jacksonville. You just got to go so far, and you know, you're out there at night. Not everyone hangs out there that night. Walter, okay, you're in the Keys, man. I'll have to check you out. Or are you going to be in the Keys next month? Because I'll be in the Keys next month too. Yeah, I'll be going down in not long, a few weeks. You know, big lobster season coming up, lobster and fishing, all that fun stuff. So I don't know how many of you guys are going down. I know a lot of people go down from Florida. You know, sometimes I'll meet people in the Keys from Jacksonville. I never knew them up here, but it's like, hey, where are you from? Jacksonville. Oh, me too. So, yes, for mini season. You know, been doing that for a long time, so we're getting excited about it. Always a good time. Hopefully we'll have good weather. Hopefully the bugs will be there, and you know, just be a great, good little vacation. So let's see. Another thing, we got some. I don't know if you guys ever need T-shirts or hoodies or stuff like that. We're actually working on merchandise shirts, back to school for kids, you know, stuff like that. My manager was telling me to talk about that. My editor and manager. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. We've been doing some cool designs. We're actually working on a lobster design, stuff we always wanted to do, just goofy stuff. Kind of want to have fun with it. So keep an eye out for that. So let's see, we'll be going, let's see, is mini season the 25th and 26th?
24th, 25th.
It's the 24th and 25th. That's the last full Wednesday, Thursday of July. So if July 31st was a Wednesday and August 1st was a Thursday, it wouldn't be that one, it would be the one before it. So cool. Let's see, I think that's about all we got for report wise. As usual, oh, sorry, one question. Where do I usually go for mini season? Usually Marathon is where we go out of. Different spots, but like I'm usually more on the Atlantic side. Some people go Gulf. Sometimes I'll go Gulf, but mostly the Atlantic side. You know, different bridges are good spots to go. 7 Mile, you know, Long Key. I would imagine the bridges by Alamorada too. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the arm bomb holes is what I've heard. When I was a kid, quick story. I remember I was a little kid, and we would drive out, and there was a big group of us. We were on this little 19C Pro, and it was crystal clear water in the Gulf, and it was all brown. And we were just cruising probably 25 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you'd see white spot, and that was usually a hole. So we'd be cruising 25 miles, clear water, and we'd have a marker jug, and just all of a sudden white, throw it, and then you'd loop the boat back around. Someone would dive in, see if it was something. So that's a good way to find holes, you know, if you're trying to think of something. I haven't done that in a while, but at the time it was pretty good. Have I had a chance to try Seymour yet? No, I haven't. I heard really good things about it. I don't think Seymour makes something for Garmin. I was thinking it was limited to like Simrad or something, because I was looking into it, and I don't think they do. At least maybe they just came out. I'll double check, but I've heard it is like really good. Seeing, you know, talking to some of the guys who use it. So no Garmin. Yeah, that sucks. Like a vacuum. But you know, I'm sure you think they'd come out with it soon. It's a big market, and you know, if not, some competitors like, hey, I can make money from all these Garmin guys. You know, so hopefully we'll get something soon. I'd really like to try that. You know, all this technology is getting so fancy. You know, I see all these boats with these big screens and all this cool stuff, and I got like a little screen I use, Garmin like 741. So I'm pretty old school, I guess. But anyways, no plans yet. Well, thanks for the update. You know, I'll have to make a few phone calls, okay? Said, hey, it's Jeremy Thurman. Come on, man, real hazardous. Forget it. Yeah. Guardian of the Galaxy for you. But anyways, so I'll kind of finish it up. If you guys watch this later, you know, anyone new, put in a good word, that's right. Then I will update the comments, or if you want to comment, if you're watching later, like, hey, I'm from so-and-so, feel free to leave a comment, you know, what's going on in your area, maybe bait or just something to get people started, you know, by all means, like secret fishing spot or nothing. But anyways, thanks for watching. Tight lines to you guys. Good luck on your travels down to the Keys. For some of you going down when we go down, maybe we'll see you there. Have a good weekend of fishing. Let me know how you do, and we'll see you tomorrow on tomorrow's video, and we'll see you live next Thursday. So, appreciate you guys. See you on the water.